Hello and welcome to Speakeasy. We're your hosts,
Elise,
Phoebe,
Mariya,
and Lauren. We hope you enjoy today's episode.
Today's episode is all about exam stress. Now, 3 out of the 4 of us are actually about to start doing our mock exams, which is slightly terrifying, wouldn't you guys agree? So my first thing is exam stress. Have you guys had it? How's it happened? And how's it manifested for you guys? Mariya, do you want to go first?
Okay, so I didn't really get exam stress in here, but I did my GCSEs, but I was absolutely relaxed about it. But I did have some issues with it in Ukraine, because it was like a bit of struggling times because my exams after secondary school should have been during COVID, and we didn't know like until the last minute what's going to happen. So I still like was revising stuff, but because I was home, it was a bit struggle. And then obviously I was struggle for some important tests during the year. And mostly it was about maths because my math teacher used to hate me, and it was just absolutely insane. And it was absolutely tough because I used to cry every single day because of that.
Yeah.
That was hard. And my roommates, because it was boarding school, they were like, just can you just get over it? But it's not that easy,
No,
you know.
Yeah, COVID definitely disrupted things because we left school never actually having done proper exams, which might be why now it's kind of a bit more daunting because we've not really had that experience.
Yeah,
Very much.
last year's mocks were.
For the first exams we've done,
It was just terrifying.
other than SATs.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so was it in the end of the year, right? How did you feel about it?
Well, for me, my exam stress turned into a kind of inactivity. I didn't have the courage to get up and revise. I'd lie in bed and cry a lot. And when I did revise, I didn't know where to start, you know? It was
Like an apathy, basically. You didn't want to do
essentially,
anything.
yeah. I just felt so overwhelmed that I didn't know how to push myself forward. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
an issue we have is that we're never taught how to revise.
Definitely, yeah.
Like I had to, you have to figure it out yourself, and I have no idea what's working for me and
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
And a lot of the ways to revise that they do teach aren't for all of the subjects. Obviously, some subjects there are ways,
Yeah.
and then those ways won't work for other subjects, and that can be quite irritating.
Yeah.
And also it's different for different people as well, like different ways of revision are going to be more effective for
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to know sometimes how to approach it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for some people it's reading through all of your notes, just getting it in your head over and over again, and some people it is you have to do practice question after practice question after practice question.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did we deal with this? It doesn't have to be the healthiest way. I want to hear what we did in the past that helped, or we thought would help, or
Sorry.
whatever. Lauren, do you want to go first?
No.
Fine, let me go first.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Okay, so my primary way was basically to ignore that stuff because, well, in Ukraine, until the recent events, I guess, people didn't really want to go for help to anyone because we have like this culture where you don't talk through your emotions, you don't express them. So yeah, I used to ignore it for some time, but then my friends were like, you just can't, you need to deal with it somehow. And then there was a point where so basically it was the point where my health interrupted and I felt severely ill for quite a few weeks. I missed some very important contest, which was in history, which I absolutely loved and I wanted to, but apparently my body said no, you don't do stuff now. But yeah, as soon as I kind of settled it in my head and I decided it is what it is, and our exams should have come up, so we filled all the forms and sent them, and by this time I already knew that I don't need maths very much, and so I decided just I'm gonna screw the teacher, whatever she is going to put me, whatever mark, I don't care. That was quite nice.
Yeah, well, it's super important that you work through your emotions, even if they're really tricky ones, surrounding exams and surrounding your future as well, I think. So you obviously had quite a difficult run of it, actually falling ill.
Yeah, but quite a strange point, because I didn't know yet what I was going to do, what university I'm going to get in. Because, well, it was very much struggle. People don't really... They don't really think much of who they want to be. Mostly it's just what your parents impress on you. And I wanted to do the law at some point, but when I got here, I reconsidered it completely. Now I kind of settled, more or less, but we'll see what this year brings.
Yeah. Interesting. Phoebe, do you want to say anything?
About
how you dealt with your exam stress in the past?
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. It is all a blur. It is. I have been stressed from the day I was born, and it's just a constant bout of stress.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't even remember what I do. I mean, I've been stressed with exams since I was taking my ballet exams, and that was literally just in front of my ballet teacher since I was like 3, and I don't know. I've just never dealt with it well.
So you sounds like you've just kind of ignored it or learned to live with it.
Yeah, I guess.
Elise, also what you said about the more overwhelming it gets, the less motivation you have to do anything.
That's just it.
I completely understand it. From on your face, Lauren, I understand. I understand. Yeah, it has been difficult.
Look of utter resignation.
Well, do you think then that the structure of exams, like the regimented, everyone sitting in the hall, adds to the stress of it? And is there like a better way it could be to reduce that at all? Or?
Well, like loads of universities they're not, like the courses, the exams at the end aren't, I'm going to sit you down in a hall with loads of other people and have you do this in a set amount of time. It is, you have a set amount of time, but it's a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Yeah. And the only thing that is required is a set word count. And I find that I'm going to handle that a lot better than I am at A level with sitting down with a bunch of people.
It's such a high pressure situation, and the timing thing is definitely what worries me the most. So much stress because of the set time that you've got, and you've got to do all these things in this time.
So also when I was doing my GCSEs here, as I said, I wasn't really worried about them, but when I already sat in the room with the set time and the paper, especially it wasn't maths, because you have just 1 hour and a half to do everything, and it's like 30 tasks, big tasks, and I'm just going through them, and then I see I got 25 minutes left, and I'm like, I didn't do about like 10 of them, so I decided to do as much as I can, and it turned out too well, I guess.
The exam hall is a very high pressure, high stress environment, and anticipating that when going into an exam, especially if you've already experienced it, can be really daunting.
And you have to remember where to sit. The minute I walk in that room, I feel like I don't remember where I'm supposed to go.
Like checking the map every few minutes beforehand. Yeah.
Because you can practice the technique kind of, and you can understand all the content, but it's applying it to that situation. You can't exactly mimic it until you're there. It's intense.
So,
not literally intense. In a hall, but
in a hall, but intense.
We've all talked about maybe not the best ways of dealing with our exam stress. What do you think are the right ways to deal with it?
I think to reduce it revise, at least for year 2, revise a little bit every night from the beginning. Even if it's only like 30 minutes, it will definitely help. Even with mocks, you'll feel a whole lot less pressure.
Yeah, don't put so much pressure on yourself to do so much in one night. Like, I've got to do a couple of hours. It's like, don't go overboard on that, because that will make you not want to do it the next day.
Yeah, I think similarly to that, keeping your notes in order from the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't change your methods.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, last year I changed from writing notes in a notebook to writing them on my laptop halfway through, and I can't find anything this year. So trying to go back and revise the material I learnt last year has proven very difficult. So just having everything set out in a clear and easy to find way is super important.
It is. I went back to revise respiration in biology today, and I went back to my little folder on my iPad that's supposed to be full of respiration stuff, realised I had only written 3 words. And the rest is on a piece of paper somewhere in my room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anything mental health wise, do you think? What's the best way to calm yourself in the moment while you're experiencing the exam
Talk about
stress?
it.
Yeah.
Basically, just find someone. If you're in college here, it could be well-being. If you are in good relationship with your parents or somebody, you can talk through it to them. Or to your friends. Yeah, they go through a lot of stuff themselves, but it's easier to overcome if you're together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, in an environment like this with other students, people are going to feel the same way.
Yeah.
As much as it feels like that's not the case, everyone experiences some kind of stress.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think it helps, at least, if you express how you feel and other people are like, yeah, I feel that way too. Okay,
Definitely.
Everyone feels this way. This is good. It's not just me.
I mean, anyone really that you talk to is going to affirm how you feel. They're going to let you know that you're not alone, because everyone has felt awful because something's coming up and they're worried about it. I can say everyone in this room has, everyone in the next room over has, sort of thing. You are always going to feel stress. So yeah, talking about it, you will always find support, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that year 2 of A-levels is the worst year for even after university. People at university have said, yeah, it's first year, second year, it is a lot less than A-levels, because at university you're doing what you want to do, that one thing that you've always wanted to do or have decided you want to do, whereas A-levels you're like, oh, this is what I need to do to get to what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think similarly to that, you are just doing one subject. A lot of the time, I know sometimes you can take dual honours.
Yeah, Lauren.
But it is one thing, whereas obviously in college you might be taking 3 different subjects. You might be taking 2 that are very similar but have different things that you need to remember. I don't know.
Yeah.
Phoebe, do you find for science?
For biology and chemistry, I guess you can add them together. It actually does help doing the 2 of them, because you can apply your knowledge to both of them, or at least you can apply chemistry to biology. You can't really apply biology most of the time to chemistry.
Lauren, what about the Englishes?
Yes, definitely the same. Because there's obviously going to cross over. So it does help when there's kind of similar focus between them. You can apply the knowledge, yes.
But I think for English, but it is a lot, obviously, doing the 2 Englishes is a lot closer than doing biology and chemistry. It must be more difficult to distinguish between the 2.
Do you find that you get mixed up between the 2 sometimes?
Yes.
And the course load, is it harder? You're taking 2 quite essay heavy subjects, and I don't know about Spanish.
Spanish is just another language. It's just difficult because it's another language.
So many words. Yeah. Because it's obviously they've got to from doing literature, there's a specific structure of each question and how you have to format this essay. And then obviously in language there's a whole other set for all these other questions. So it's trying to keep them organized in your head of which criteria you have to meet for everything. Yes, it can be confusing sometimes,
Yeah.
It is difficult. I find that in history, it's only one subject, but there are 3 different essay styles that we have to do, and you have to remember how to do all 3 of them, otherwise you will get 0 marks.
I think we've kind of gone off topic a bit here, but the whole idea is there is a lot less conflict in university, and therefore a lot less to remember.
Yeah, I think
I mean, there is more work, maybe.
Yeah.
But, it is one subject.
And it is the subject that you have chosen that you want to spend the rest of your life doing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so moving on. The college. I know we've talked about the Wellbeing Centre already. Yep. But do we feel like the college provides adequate support, and what could they do to make it better, etc.?
I think that they do. I just think that I am awful at seeking it out because I feel I need it less than other people, so I don't go and seek it.
Yes.
Because I don't want to take it away from someone else that will need it more than I do.
Interesting.
Actually, I was thinking about maybe some group sessions. Sometimes they do help, like for those who actually struggle. So you can just talk it through. Maybe again meet someone who has the same problem. So
Elise, what do you think?
I think the college has done a really good job of every exam season putting those posters up. You see them everywhere. Exam stress is normal. This is how you can deal with it. And it gives you tips and advice, and then tells you where to go to find more support. And that is the first step, really. Making people aware of it's normal, it's going to happen. This is what you can do. This is where you can go. That's super important. I do think, similarly to Phoebe's point, people won't seek it out some of the time. And that's mostly because people think they don't need it as much as others. So we need to think about finding a way to not push it onto people.
Basically to reach out to them.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to reach out so that they don't have to come and say, look, I need help. Because lots of people are really bad at admitting that they need help.
Yeah.
That was last of my topics. But is there anything else you guys have thought of during this kind of conversation that you think is incredibly pertinent to...
One question I wanted to ask you, do you look forward to your mocks, and how do you, no, honestly, in terms of experience, and how do you think, are you ready for them or not really?
Definitely experience. It's so, I think, so important to practice it in that situation because, like I said, it's one that you can't really imitate until you're in there, so having not as much pressure but kind of getting used to the structure of it definitely really does help. And it's nice that you can remind yourself this is not the actual one. I can learn from the experience this time, know what I need to change and what I need to work on going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
And no, I am not prepared.
No.
It's okay. No one really is.
The experience, I'm very grateful for the experience. Obviously we had problems with our GCSEs, we haven't had real exams, blah 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 blah, we've talked about it all before, but this gives us a chance to hone our exam taking skills. It sounds really bad, but
no, definitely.
No, it makes sense.
It's practice, it's preparation, and if you do badly, it's a wake-up call. You're doing something wrong, you need to change what you're doing, essentially.
I think it's more of a, even if you don't understand or know all of the content in the exam, I think it's a good practice of time management within an exam because it's real timing, so you can see if you could answer every question in a real exam.
And also, I think our mocks, some of them at least, are even less time than we're going to have in the actual one. So
I think it is less time per mark for some of them.
I mean, they've got to fit it all into 2 hours. I think our English exam is at 2 hours and 30 minutes normally.
Normally, yeah.
So they've actually cut off 30 minutes from our paper.
Yeah.
And did they take a question out or not? Or is it just
Possibly.
the same?
I don't know, but
Either way, we've got less time than we usually would, which, you know,
Yeah.
it's scary, but it will help
Yeah, because
in the coming...
Because if you can
Yeah.
do it
months.
all within that time, you know you can definitely do it in more.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
and don't forget to check, because like checking is very important. In my GCSEs, it was very hard for me to finish my English on time, because I need to comprehend stuff in my mind. And so it was very hard, and I didn't get the mark I probably wanted on my second paper, because I really finished it just as 2 hours have passed.
yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable. Time is the biggest problem for everyone, I think. Just getting everything done, getting all your thoughts onto the page, etc.,
Yeah.
etc.,
Yeah.
in the time, which, you know, if you had 2 weeks to do an essay, then you'd probably...
That would be great, honestly.
Yes.
But we don't, so it's learning to do it within that time, and that's why mocks are so important,
Yes.
really.
Yeah. Actually, about 2 weeks, I had my essay on Hamlet. The first essay I did in 2 weeks, and I got very good mark, very high mark on it. And I just did a timed essay in class on Monday, and I know that I didn't do that well, just
Yeah.
because it's 15 minutes we were
Yeah.
given, and just do all that in time. It's it was insane. Like I know I was on the point, but
You gotta get everything done.
Yeah, I didn't include stuff which I really wanted, and sometimes I just jump from one point to another, and
Yeah.
that's awful.
Yeah, well, just a real example there, like, of how time can not only pressure you, which, you know, that decreases the quality of your work,
Yeah.
but it just constrains you in a way that will affect you, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was just gonna say, you start off, you read the question, and you've got so many ideas of what you want to write, and having the time you have, it's a case of thinking about what to prioritize, and that is just as difficult a skill
Absolutely.
to just when you've got to learn as well.
Yeah. So I guess the main point is, don't treat the exams or any mocks like the end of your life.
Oh,
it's
no.
just it's just
Absolutely.
an experience.
Yeah.
Like I was struggling with that. That was my issue, but now I'm
You'll
fine.
be doing... When do you do your year 1 mocks?
In the end of the year, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like after we finish our actual.
Thank you for listening to our podcast, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.